was a brothel. There was crack being sold in one room, smoked in another room, and prostitution taking place in another room. And so that was my life. I saw crack lit up on a spoon, and that's just the way life was. And so at the age of 5, I decided to give away my virginity voluntarily, and the first thing I did was get pregnant. So at 11 years old, I found myself in 5th grade and I was pregnant. And then 2 years later, I was 13 at that time, I met a gentleman, if you would call him that, and he played a lot on my vulnerability, and so I began to sell my body for money for him. And so at that time, I was in 7th grade. I dropped out of 7th grade to be a full-time street prostitute at 13 years old. And was living in the streets. I was living on my own. I lived in a hotel, and I would pay for my hotel by tricking with, tricks, that's what they were. And so at 13, I've got, a baby. I'm living on my own. I'm not in school, and just trauma after trauma after trauma. I ended up in foster care for about 3 years, which was okay for the most part. I had a good experience, but those spirits never left. And so after leaving foster care and going back home, I found myself prostituting again. I was in high school, and I was really living this double life. I would go to school during the day and hang out, and I was part of the dance team and doing all this stuff and making good grades, I think. And then at night, that's what I would do. And nobody ever knew. I was just such a chameleon. I just blended in so well. And I was just so committed to this man. He never left. We never parted ways. Anyway, so, but at the age of 14, let me back up a little bit because I have to share how God's been faithful every step of the way. He sent people to sow seed. They would walk up to me on the street. I think it's probably started around age 8, and they would just share Jesus with me. Just share Jesus with me, and even 13 prostituting, trying to handle my business. God would just send people and invite me to church, or just send people to talk to me. And I would always listen. I wasn't ever rude, but, I had business to take care of. So, I thank you for the invite, but I got my money to make, because that was my mind. That was my mentality. So God was faithful to sow those seeds and see. And let me just encourage somebody real quick, because you never know what seeds you're sowing. Absolutely. And just because you don't see an immediate harvest doesn't mean that God's not working. And so those seeds that they were sowing into me didn't take a harvest immediately, but one day God brought forth the harvest. So